Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Owl House Season 2 Episode 4 called Keeping Up A-Fear-ances. And earlier today I did Episode 3 Echoes of the Past, and now I'm doing Episode 4 Keeping Up A-Fear-ances. So it's a double video today. And first I want to say, please subscribe to my channel. And I also wanted to say that next week, or this coming week I should say, I guess, on Tuesday, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't think it's going to be Amphibia. I don't think it's going to be The Owl House, like episode 5 and 6. So it's most likely going to be Big City Greens. Big City Greens. Yeah, most likely it will be episodes 13 and 14. And on Wednesday it will be episode 15. And then Thursday and Friday, I don't know. Because I would want to take a break between the mid-season finale and then the rest of season 1. The rest. So... You know what I might do is maybe Thursday I don't know what I'll do, and then Friday I'll do episode 16, so that maybe next week it'll be 17 and 18 at Big City Greens. Maybe, probably. I don't know. I we'll have to wait and see. I have to see. But also I thought Echoes of the Past will be like an hour-long video. It's 48 minutes, so it's definitely shorter than episode 2, and shorter than episode 1 also. It's actually the same length as episode 1 of season 1 of The Owl House, 48 minutes. So I think it's a pretty good length. So so let's not dawdle any longer. Keeping Up A-Fear-ances. All right, let's begin. All right. We actually start the past with young Ida, where she is basically talking, and she's like, when I transform into the owl beast, I get into this dark place and it appears, and we see the owl beast and it twists its head, and it's like, oh, it's scary, and she runs away. And then I wake up, like I'm not transformed anymore, and I know I turned into that thing. And you see her mother, Mrs. Clawthorne, and you see someone in the healing coven, and he's like, I see. Well, here, take this gemstone. It will, when it bubble, it will keep the curse, it will basically tell you when it bubbles that the curse is rising. And we actually see it turn black. It has a little bit of black into gold. And he also said, I heard that these are stylish for witches your age. So, it looks cool and it's also helpful. And Mrs. Clawthorne's like, Edith's mom's like, oh, what a wonderful little stone. But hey, can I speak to you for a moment? And so I'm glad there's continuity to where Ida got that gem. Just like she just has it, and also it's connected with the curse. But we know where she got it. She got it from a healer. But Mrs. Clawthorne's like, are you serious? It's just a gemstone? Is that all you can do? And the healer's like, Mrs. Clawthorne, we have never seen a curse like this before. Maybe you can consult the potions coven, and they might have a way to keep it at bay. And she's like, to keep it at bay? Oh no, my daughter is suffering. I want that thing out. Cut it out if you have to. And Ida was like, young Ida was eavesdropping, and she's like, because she doesn't want to be cut open. She sees an open window, and she just leaves. And Mrs. Clawthorne is like, oh, Edelyn, I'm taking you to someone else. And she's like, Edelyn, and she saw the window open, and Ida just goes to the back of her house, and she's like, whew. And and she's like, hey, I never I never seen anything like this before. And she actually trips over something, and it's the portal suitcase. So it was buried in her backyard. Why is that? Is there something going on with the Clawthorne family? Like, what's going on? Why is it in her backyard? Like, there has to be a reason. If there's not a reason, that's kind of lame. But so hopefully, and she's like, oh, what's this thing? And it actually has a crack in the eye. And when we see Ida use it in present day, not anymore because Luz blew it up, but it didn't have the crack. So, how did that happen? So, and the portal opened, and it opened into the human realm, and we see, we hear Mrs. Clawthorne, and she's like, Edelyn, where are you? And Ida just went to the portal, so she went to the human realm, and it closed. And Mrs. Clawthorne's like, Edelyn, I'll find a way to cure you, Edelyn. Like, if it's the last thing I do. Like, she's kind of really dedicated to it. Intro, then we get to the episode, and there's an alarm clock, and it's like, and she's grabbed it and threw it. In her morning routine, she puts her gold tooth, she drinks her elixir, which tastes bad, she is shaving off her feathers, and what else? What else happened? Right. Ida goes into the kitchen, and basically, Luz is like sleeping because she's been studying, which is good. And Ida's like, meh, like, why is there no more apple blood? And it's like, oh, hey kid, like, any luck? It's like, ugh, like, no, I read every book, tome, novel, tea leaf, and there's nothing about making a portal to the human realm. Luz is still on that. And Ida's like, I'm sorry, I wish I can help you, kid, but my portal was really old when I found it. And like, and then we hear Lilith like and like, oh, what's going on? And then we see Lilith is getting affected by the curse too. Like, her nails are getting sharper, and she has feathers. She's like, help me! And that was in the trailer. And she went to her older sister. She gave her an elixir, and she's like, hey, calm down. The curse gets worse when you're stressed. And she's like, blah. She was like, that was horrific. That was horrible. How did you manage all these years? And she's like, well, it's no fun, but it takes practice, and and takes time to get used to, and like I had the elixir to keep it at bay, so everything's fine. And and hey, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, like, don't worry about it. Hey, at least I got company now. And Lilith doesn't have her hand. I was like, what? And Lilith's like, and Ida's like, oh yeah, side effect of the curse. So that's why she can so take off her limbs. Because in separate ties, she was like, Lilith was like, where are your legs? And she's like, they're right here. So I was like, oh, it's from the curse. Okay. So she like, twists Lilith's hand back on, and she's like, oh, it gets fun once in a while. And and Lilith's like, still apologizing and say, hey, I'm gonna talk to Luz outside, but hey, there's elixirs all around, and if you need anything, you have me. And Lilith is like, happy, is like, looking at the elixirs that's taped to the ceiling, and and then Ida and Luz are like, talking outside, and okay, and Ida's like, as I was saying, my portal was really old when I found it. And I never really figured out like who made it or who had it first, like who had it before me. So I just never bothered with it. And Lucy's like, why would you keep it to yourself? And I didn't really like Ida's comment here where she's like, oh, so suddenly eager to know about my past. And Lucy's like, yes, like always curious. I like Lucy's answer, but I didn't like Ida because Ida, Lucy's curious, like like in convention, she's like, oh, you have parents? I want to know more. Like, Luce wants to know, and we want to know too. So Luce's like, yes, I'm always curious. I agree with Luce. I want to know about your past too. But I don't know. That's my first point off. But and Ida's like, well, I used it to get away from someone. And Lucy's like, who? And we hear a voice, and it's Mrs. Clawthorne, and she's like, probably me. And like Luz is like, magic bird tornado? Okay, I'm gonna play the clip right here. Doesn't that look awesome? And she was from the trailer, and Luz is like, magic bird tornado, and we see Mrs. Clawthorne. She looks older, and I just want to say right now, I guess a little spoiler in the episode. This policeman is named Hawkswig, so it's a hawk. So I was kind of wondering, is it an eagle, hawk, falcon? So it's a hawk. Cool. And, we see Mrs. Clawthorne, and she's part of the Beastkeeping Coven, because if you see the little orange right here, so, oh, cool. And, she's like, oh, hey, hi, what did she say? What was the nickname? Lilith was Sweet Flea. What was it? What was Ida? Oh, Little Witchlet. I was mind blanking. Oh, hi, Little Witchlet. And they go, come here. And Ida was like, oh, Gwendolyn. And she's like, oh, are we still on that? Oh, I'm your mother. Call me Mom. And Luz and Lilith are like, Mom? And I'm gonna call her Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is like, oh, are you eating well? Are you okay? It's like, I heard all about the petrification ceremony. Trust me, I have a lot of things to say about that, Bellows. And Love's like, oh, Mother, I was there too. And she's like, oh, hi, Sweet Flea. I see you're still dyeing your hair. That's very sleek. And now, give me a moment with Edelyn. It's very important. And just like look at Lilith like, oh, you don't care. And and Gwendolyn is like, I am on a long life mission. And he's like, oh no, like, your mother's finally done it. And she's like, oh, here it comes. And she's like, your mother has finally found a cure for your curse. He's like, no thanks. And Luz and Lilith is like, what? And Ida's like, I said no thanks. I have my elixir. I'm good. And is this supposed to represent anti-vaxxers? Because this is just my own, my own speculation. If it's not, it's not. But if it is, it is. But Gwendolyn's like, oh, who knows what they put in those nasty concoctions? And Ida's like, actually, I do know. So I'm good. So, oh, look at the time. It looks for you to time to go. And she's like, thanks for stopping by. Bye. And she just flies off. And you're like, Moms, am I right? That's my reaction. Like, what? And Lilith's like, I haven't seen Mother in years. And she was about to hand you a curse. That'd be funny. A cure on a silver platter. And Luz is like, I would kill to see my mom right now. And you just launched yours into the sky? And Ida's like, oh, listen. Every year, she comes around with a new cure. And they never work. So I'm done getting my hopes up. And Lilith is like, Mother visits Edelyn regularly? And you see Gwendolyn, she's very sad. And Luz is like, And she's like, Mrs. Clawthorne, wait, I'm Luz. I'm Ida's apprentice. And that kind of basically explains the relationship a little bit. It's a little bit different. I mean, it's not too different by any means. Luz obviously cares about Ida, but Luz said, I'm Ida's apprentice, not like Ida's kid. So when Luz said, when Ida says, like, you're my kid, kind of saying, like, you're kind of like my daughter, and Luz said, like, oh, Mrs. Clawthorne, I'm Ida's apprentice. So kind of like they're not on the same level of relationship, which is fine. They don't exactly have to be. But I just wanted to point it out to, like, my eyes. I'm like, oh, Luz still sees Ida as an apprentice, not like a guardian or a mom or an aunt. Well, because I didn't really, like, know. So, like, now I know. So, okay, that's interesting. And she's like, oh, what I think you're doing is very sweet. But, Ida can be so Ida sometimes. And she's like, call me Gwen, dear. So I'm going to call her Gwen. And, like, don't blame Edelyn. It was the curse that caused the rift between us. And she's like, oh, well, there's an actual rift between me and my mom in the human realm. And Gwen is like, oh, the human realm? Oh, hey, my dear, I think I have a solution to solve both our rifts. I was like, oh, what does she know? And Lucy's like, really? And she's like, I know some information that can help you with your quest. So you help me cure Ida's curse, and I will give you the information. And Lucy's like, yes, where do we start? And she's like, we're going to consult someone very special with like a ominous necklace. Okay. And Lucy's like, we're going to go see like a curse, a curse master. And she's like, oh yes, after dealing with the healing coven and after years dealing with the healing coven, I finally got someone with results. She has the necklace. She opens it. Pretty cool design. And they opens the cave. Look at the design. It looks pretty cool. They go in, and oh, look at this. This looks so beautiful. And I was like, it's another wizard guy. So that kind of got me worried. And basically there's this. Oh, this looks so ugly, so awful. And he's like, oh please, and he's like, oh. He's like, oh. It looks magical. Oh, thank you, Globulor. I think that was his name. And Gwen's like, And and she's like, oh, that's Master Globulor. He's the master curses, and he knows how to remove them. And he's a master healer. And he's like, oh, come. And she hands Hawkswig to Luce, and he's like, oh, Gwendolyn, your aura is very bright. I was like, oh, and she's like, oh. Like, I gathered the stuff you asked for, like the egg, just different places, I forgot, like the egg from something, the chalice from the snowy ribcage, the dagger from the swampy toes, I think it was. And she said, oh, you're a dedicated mother, aren't you? And said, oh, that's the dagger right there. I couldn't find it earlier. And so, oh, this is the tome with the cure you seek. But keep it away from the non-believers, and because it will corrupt it. And she said, oh, I understand. Thank you. I'm in your debt, Master Globulor. And Lucy's like, she has like a smile, like, yeah, this is gonna work. And there's a sign of apple blood. And we get King. This is the B plot between King and Lilith. And I guess Hooty's part of it too, where King's like, oh, did you see that, Francois? And they're still putting up more signs, but King's like, if Ida and Lilith's mom can come back out of nowhere, who said my dad can't? I better get my hugging arms ready. And Lilith's like, yeah, good luck with all that dad stuff. And she has parent issues, like she's like, or mom issues at least. Like she's like, it doesn't matter how dutiful you are or successful you are, parents won't give you the time of day. And King's like, oh, don't listen to her, Francois. My dad won't be like that. And she's like, oh, yeah, your mysterious father that didn't stick around to watch you hatch. Looks like you and I are in the same boat, King. Oh, and this is the symbol that I think I have a good shot right here. I know the lighting kind of blocks it, and Francois, but that's the symbol that was on the tower. So you kind of got to see it. And also, I forgot to mention, sorry, I'm talking too fast, King's horn. See kind of the discoloration because it was in Ida's hair. So it's right there. Cool. And King's like, man, my dad doesn't care. And and look, half off, never too much, crawl your way. And he does a trap. And he's like, oh, and look at Hawkswig. He looks pretty cool. And he said, oh, all right, great job, Luce. This was sure, this will lure Gwendolyn for sure. And Lucy's like, yeah, she loves her apple blood. And and say, oh, you're what did you say? You're Master Globulor's apprentice? Is, oh yes, I've been studying for years. I had to prove myself, and I didn't get that much scars. Look how much bite marks she has. And Lucy's like, whoa. And she's also like, dang girl, like your bicep gang is ridiculous. And I agree. It's okay. Edith's coming in. Aged apple blood this way. Smells like a barn. He approves and go. He's like, oh yeah, time for Mama's night juice, because remember she was out of apple blood and Luce was in there, so she gave the idea to Gwen. So that's pretty funny. And Lucy's like, oh, what's first? And we gotta lower the beast's defenses. And we need to you give her these throw her these ice crystals. This must be quite calming. And he was dodging them. He's like, oh, like ice season is getting nearer. Oop, sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there. So I'm gonna leave her, and there's like giant ice that's about to impale Ida, and more feathers feathers starting to sprout out, and Luz is like has some elixir in a fanny pack. He's like, oh, she's stressed, and Gwen's like, oh no, dear, don't give her those. Like don't worry, the feathers just mean that we're lowering the beast's defenses, and they're coming out. We're drawing the beast out, and Luz is like, and Gwen's like, don't worry. Once we're down here, Elin will never have to drink those nasty things again. And Luz is like, okay, what's next? We need to put the beast on ice. So she has a pouch, and whoosh, like this cool ice cloud. It's gonna freeze Ida. And we get back to the B plot. Sorry. We get back to the B plot, and King and Lilith are getting kind of they're getting drunk on ice cream. That's pretty funny. And they're like, oh. And your King's like, how do you get your parents' attention? And Lilith's like, oh, heck if I know. Mother didn't even come to my covenant initiation. And like, and Hooty is like, you guys, that's a lot of ice cream. Ida gets that stuff from the night market, right? And Lilith's like, are you my mother? Because that sounds like a lot of judgment. Oh, I forgot to mention, before Hooty came, sorry. King said, like, at least you know what your mom looks like. I don't even know what my dad looks like. All I have is a wall carving. What if that's just graffiti? And, and King's like, this stinks. Like, like, if my dad doesn't care about me, why should I care about him? Well, I'm not going to him. He has to come to me. And Lilith's like, Lilith's like, yeah. And you know what? I have no mother. And I say that to her face. And, King's like, yeah. And Hooty's like, don't you think that's taking it too far? And King's like, it's not taking it far enough. Go tell her. She's right outside. And Lilith's like, wait, she is? Like, yeah, they're gonna cure Ida's curse. And, I think that's what they're doing. And Lilith's like, oh, well, that's nice. Mother is paying attention to Elin. Again. Well, it's not like I care. And more the feathers starting to sprout out. And King's like, you got a little, like, And, Lilith's like, She's looking under the couch cushions. She's looking at the ceiling. She's, look in the cabinets. Where are the elixirs? And, and King and Hooty are going to the room, Ida's room, where the nest is. And King's like, Lilith? And she's like, And her eyes are turning black. And she turned into a big beast. We see a shadow. And this is funny. King is showing Lilith ice cream. What? And, that's not gonna work. But, then we see, Ida is climbing, and she's like, this must be the oldest, stankiest, cheapest apple putt ever. And it has a sign that says it's really good. And Lucy's like, Gwen, we tried freezing the curse out. We tried sweating the curse out. We even tried flying snakes for some reason. And she messed up her shoes, and flying snakes are trying to trample her, like trying to get her. And, Lucy's like, I don't think this is working. And Gwendolyn has a raven phone that I'm sending it right away. And Lucy's like, what are you doing? Oh, this book isn't the first of a series, so I'm sending, my just some lonely prized possessions, family heirlooms to get the rest. And Lucy's like, let me see that book. And she's like, halt. Only, what was it? Master Globlar, some pyramids, what was it? Not pyramid scheme, but like pyramid something, pyramid square, to allowed to look at. And Lucius takes it, has a plank lift, uses it as a vine to get the book. and I was like, pyramid. But this is the same thing, just like in season 1, episode, what was it? Episode 2, and season 1, episode 11, where it's more like season 1, episode 2, where Luz was tricked by the wizard. So this is the same thing right here. So I was like, they're doing the same thing again. They're kind of recycling the episode in a way. It's not a full recycle. It's kind of halfway recycle. So I'm taking a point out for that. I think I only had like 2 complaints this episode. So that's actually pretty good. So it's still an A. But anyway, Luz is like, are you kidding me with this? Gwen being scanned. Look, what was it? Songbird for curing headaches. Aromatherapy for broken legs. Bees for was something else. It's like, and she's like, you think I'll fall for a scam? Like, I spent my whole life doing this, like many years. And this is like, Gwen, I know you're trying to do what's best for Ida, and I want to do what's best for Ida too. I'm sorry, I'm calling this off. And she has elixir, and Gwen grabs Luz's arm, and she's like, I thought we were on the same page, Luz. And she grabs the elixir, and she's like, I'm saying the name wrong probably. Globlarb, Globlarb, claims that elixirs like these are only from potion covens and healing covens who just want money. And there's a book that says, yeah, they're bad, and just send the money to me. There's a picture of him, and he's like, And she's like, you don't have to worry about it. Hogswig, cleaned out the elixirs from Edith's house. And she's like, whoa, why would you do that? And she's like, I'm a mother that would do anything for her daughter. And Lucy tackles her, and elixirs fall down, and sorry, in the middle a little bit, get comfortable. And Edith got the last snake off, and she looking at her feathers. Oh, this isn't good. And Gwen, she hears a crash, and she says her mom, Gwen, and Luz, and she's like, what are you two doing here? And Gwen's like, oh, it's okay, little witchlet. Luz and I were, trying to cure you. And he's like, this was you? You're not trying to cure me. You're trying to kill me. And Luz is like, Ida, please stay calm. Why? Why should I stay calm? I have a right to be upset. And her eyes turn black. Her gems are very black, sorry. Oh, I forgot, she has a new dress now. And that's, she has a new dress. So, yep. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out. I forgot to say, while she was getting ready, she got a new outfit. So, her eyes turn black, she has teeth, and she got more feathers. She turned to the owl beast. And she's in the nightmare scape again. And she's like, oh, not this again. She's running. And, Gwen, Gwen is like, okay, all we need to do is, and Luz is like, what? Buy the next volume? And Luz is like, ugh. And King came. I guess he followed the apple blood signs. That's the only explanation. And she's like, where? And Luz is like, King? Is it? Oh, yeah. So Love was feeling stressed out, and the light glyph didn't work. That's important. Remember when Luz made her first spell, the light glyph, it kind of healed Ida a little bit, or at least knocked her out, and the elixir kind of turned her back to normal. She said that King said the light glyph didn't work. So does that mean the light glyph won't work for Ida either? I don't know, but at least it doesn't work for, Lilith. She's like, yeah, the light glyph didn't really work, and see, Lilith has a big form. I wish I can show it. I can't, sorry, but it's a big form. It's kind of like a raven beast, and Gwen's like swiftly, and compared to size, Lilith is the older sister, so she's much bigger. Ida and Lilith are beast form and going after each other. Lilith grabs Ida and flies off, and Gwen is like, this is part of the process, right? Wait, no, and first she's like, wait, that was my Lilith? But that means she's cursed. And King's like, yes, she was cursed. Didn't you pay any attention to her? And Luz is like, I'm gonna go cure them. I'm gonna cure them. I'm gonna go help them, heal them. will you come with me? And she's like, this is part of the process, right? And Luz is like, I see you still need some time. Like, all right, come on, Albert, we need to go. So King went with Luz, with Albert, and Gwen is on her hawk's wig, her hawk's staff, and she's like, Globlarb, I'm probably saying that wrong. Globlarb he's not a fake, is he? After all I did for him, she used her necklace to get in, and she's like, oh, and the goblin that got healed, there's a bunch of goblins pretending to be wizards. So it's just episode 2 all over again. Ugh, lame, but whatever. And she's like, oh, what should we call this? Oh, what was it? The healing sand of the rib cage or whatever. And I thought this was really cool. She's part of the Beastkeeping Coven, and she made all these fire beads whoosh, burst into flames, and they realize it's Gwen, so whoosh, they turn back to the wizard, and she's Mrs. Clawthorne, how fortuitous and unexpected, and she's like, after Ida got cursed, I joined the Beastkeeping Coven. I was sure they know what to do. But the Beastkeeping Coven said that the beast couldn't be tamed, and the Healing Coven said that it couldn't be healed. Well, at least Ia said she found something manageable, but I didn't listen. And Globlard's like, or the goblins, I guess, is like, I can give you the next volume, 10% off, 20% off, and she's like, leave. And whoosh, it looked really cool, and fire all around, and she's like, and if I ever see you in Burnsboro again, every beast in the forest will be after your head. They just got scared and whoosh, booked in, went to the ground, and she's like, yeah, I still got it. We see that the beasts, Raven beasts and Ida beasts, are attacking the town. They're, crashing into buildings and stuff like that. And Mr. Elixir, or Morton, I guess, is like, oh, no one's buying anything. I just close up. And Lou's like, Morton, wait, I need every elixir you have. He's like, oh, and will you accept, what was it, hyper-realistic portraits? And he just closes the door. He's like, oh, I thought it was improving. And Gwendolyn's like, don't worry, dear, Mama's here. And she has a bunch of money. Because remember, she went back to the goblins. This basically ripped her off, so she has money. And so now, and basically, and Lucy's like, Gwen, are you sure this is gonna work? And your King's like, yeah, are you gonna secretly portray us as something? And she's like, no, I'm gonna make things right. She grabbed the Gorblarb fake necklace, and she's with her heel, broke it. So that's dedication. And Luce and King are going above them, and remember in the trailer those flying things, the flying tiles or something with the eyes? That's where this comes in, where Gwendolyn's using it as foot placements to go near them, and she's like, my beautiful daughters, I have failed you. And she's talking to Ida, Ida, I thought that your curse was something to be ashamed of. I should have listened to you. And Ida called, Gwendolyn mom, which is good, should. And she's like, Mom? He's like, I thought your curse would be something to be ashamed of. But whether we want it or not, it's a part of you. And I love every part of you. And she used her mother's confidence to bring confidence into her own self and controlled it and turned to a tiny bird. And, and Ida's like, Mom, I hear you. And she's like, oh, you. And she grabbed into the Albies and said, oh, my turn to drive. Kind of very Incredible Hulkish, where Bruce Banner kind of takes over the Hulk, sort of. As spoilers for Endgame and sort of Infinity War. That was a cutscene. So, kind of your Professor Hulk style. And, and Gwen's like, I'm so sorry. And Ida's like, Mom? And she's like, oh, you're okay. And, we see Lilith, and and Gwen goes to Lilith and says, oh, Lilith, you were always so self-efficient, but I never gave you the attention you deserve. And Lilith is listening, and she's crying, and she's like, oh, shh. Oh, because Ida goes on to top of her first, and then and Gwen's like, oh, I'm here for you. And she's like, now. And Luce has, Morton's brand new elixir, sort of, it's more powerful. And she has two of them, puts one in, drops it in Lilith's mouth and pours it in Edith's mouth. And whoosh, and and King drops him from loose and to hold them down, and the big explosion bursts, throws King. Loose catches him. You see like a big bird, whoosh, bursts into flames, and Loose is like, wow, this good elixir, and they're back to normal, their normal selves, and Gwen's like, oh, you too, thank goodness you're right. And he's like, oh, it took you long enough, Mom. And Lilith's like, oh, Mom, I'm sorry. I hurt you, but I couldn't control myself. I'm sorry. And she's like, it's okay. I'm here for you both. And she's hugging both of them. And King's like, oh, she was trying her best, huh? Because, thinking about his dad and stuff. And, Gwen is, leaving. And basically, she's like, I'm sorry for all the trouble. I was just trying to help. And I should listen to you. And he's like, yeah, you should listen to me. But, I know you were good at heart. But don't be a stranger, okay, Mom? I want you to visit. And, the Lilith is like, oh, Mom, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to go home. And, and then, and Ida's like, well, wait, where are you going? He's like, oh, I decided to move back in with Mom and Dad and make up for lost time. Move back home. And Ida, King, and Luce is like, really? And Hooty's like, what? Like, no. And Lilith is like, there's still plenty that that we don't know about this curse. So it would be good time to spend time home and reconnect with Dad. And Ida had kind of not an angry expression. It wasn't angry. It was kind of like sad. So something happened between her and Ida's dad. So, and kind of like, this is kind of a serious situation. So why wasn't he here? And I don't want another Alador situation where I liked him, but he was kind of aloof a little bit. So hopefully Ida and Lilith's dad, Gwen's husband, isn't aloof and he's actually like there. So. And Lilith is going to reconnect with them, and because, she is around her mid-40s, so it makes sense that she wouldn't see him for a while. And Ida has, like, a sad look on her face, so, oh, what's going on there? And, Gwendolyn has with her big poofy hair, it's like, oh, we have a bunch of elixirs stocked up. And, Luce is like, one day my hair will be big enough to do that. And King's like, you really want that? And Hooty's like, no, Lulu. And, Lulu's like, Hootsifer, I'm sorry, I have to go. But don't worry, we can be pen pals. And Hootsifer's like, I don't know how to hold a pen. And, and we got some information. This is really cool. Where Gwen's like, Luce, if it weren't for you, I'd still be trapped in Gorblarb's lies. Which I think was kind of dumb, but a plot, but it was kind of recycled or halfway recycled, but whatever. And, and she's so, this is what I should have told you from the start. You are not the first human to live in Burnsboro. And Lucy's like, oh. So I heard, my, my great-grandmother, first she said, there's a substance that's called Titan's blood. The Titan, the big monster that's where they live in. There's a substance called Titan's blood. It's a very powerful substance that causes leaks in between our realms. Plants, animals, and, you guys have a lot of garbage. But anyway, my great-grandmother told me a story about a human that once lived here. And rumor has, and he mysteriously vanished. And rumor has it that he left something in the library. And Lucy's like, so if I find more about him, and Gwen's like, if I find more about him, I will find out how he got here and how he left. And Gwen is like, exactly. And Gwen loves, say their goodbyes, they go on their staffs and leave. And Hooty's still crying, and, Ida's like, well, I'm going to be in bed on the couch for the next 48 hours. And King's like, no, I call couch. And, Hooty's still crying, but Lucy's like, I'll be home soon, Mom. And she's like, camp is probably over. Camp's probably over by now. I hope she's doing okay. And we go to the human realm. And it's, oh, and what's going on? Are we going to learn more about the letters from, Enchanting Gromfrey from season 1? Because I think that's the last time we saw her. And we actually see her crying. Oh no, she knows she's gone. But no, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. These animal documentaries make me so sad. Make me such a mess. And we hear Lucy's voice, like, here, mama. And, and she's like, oh, thank you, Lucy. You always know what to do. And we don't see Lucy's face. And I was like, oh. And then it goes to credits. So that's the end of the episode. So I'm kind of like, there was a theory going around for like the letters. If it was something called like Creepy Loose, like, or like Obscura or something like that. That's the opposite of light, darkness. So like, but why are they covering up her face? Because Camilla would, like, know that's loose. So my little theory, my own personal theory, because even with me, I'm gonna watch episode 9, technically today, but tomorrow, Saturday, through episodes 1 through 8, we didn't get any more of Creepy Loose. Sorry, spoiler, or whatever she is. So I don't know what's like on her face, but my little theory right now is that maybe she has like a little scar. Because why would they be covering up her face? Like, why would they be doing that unless they were trying to hide something? But Camilla doesn't seem dumb by any means. She seemed intelligent. She's like a nurse or a doctor. She's like in a medical profession. So I'm kind of like, she would recognize her own daughter. So it's her voice, so it has to be her face. So I'm assuming she has a scar on her face. Maybe she lost an eye. She has an eye patch or something. There has to be something, because it has to be her face, but there has to be something different about it. It can't be just this blank screen, because Camilla's like, she'd be freaked out, like, Luce, why is your face like that? But anyway, that's my little theory. Maybe she has a scar or something. But everyone, I give this episode 9 out of 10. It was better than episode 1 and episode 2, but it wasn't as good as episode 3. Like, episode 3 was a 95%, A+. This was a solid A, 90%. I wish it didn't like recycle the episode 2 season 1 episode, like halfway recycle it. And also the what was it? The whole Ida not knowing that Lucy wants to know about her past. Like, come on, Ida, you knew. How did you not know? I don't know. But everyone, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Give me a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share the video. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday for most likely Big City Dreams Season 1, Episodes 13 and 14. Well, no, sorry, Episode 13, then I guess Wednesday would be 14, I guess. Sorry. Alright. Bye.